So you want to ace the Icse Class 10 economics exam? Well, today we're going to crack the code. We're going way beyond just what's in the syllabus. We're going to dive deep into official examiner reports and real performance data to show you what actually separates the top scorers from, well, everyone else. Let's get into it.
Here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll lay out the exam blueprint. Then, we're going to get inside the examiner's head and figure out what they're really looking for. After that, we'll check out the scoreboard, the hard data on how students actually did. From there, we'll build your strategic study guide. And finally, we'll wrap it all up with one last, really important question.
Okay, first things first. If you want to win, you have to know the battlefield. And that means you need a rock-solid understanding of the official syllabus. It's all broken down into 5 main units.
The first 3 units? These are your foundation. We're talking about the absolute basics, right? The theories of demand and supply, the 4 factors of production, and of course, how different markets are set up. You gotta know this stuff cold. It's the bedrock for everything else.
Now, once you've got that foundation locked in, the last 2 units are where things get a little more applied. You'll look at the government's role in the economy, and then you'll dive into the whole world of money, banking, and inflation. This is where all those core theories start to play out in the real world.
So, you know what you need to study. Great, but listen, that's only half the battle. The real secret weapon, the thing that separates a good student from a great one, is understanding how your paper gets graded. And for that, we've got a secret weapon, the official ICSE examiner's reports. They're an absolute goldmine of insights.
And this is so crucial. The top students, they don't just memorize the textbook. No way. They learn to think like the person who's going to be marking their exam. They know the common mistakes people make, and more importantly, they know exactly how to avoid them.
Just look at how specific this piece of feedback is. The examiner is literally telling you the question asked for the impact of inflation, but a bunch of students just gave the definition. This is such a classic trap, right? Answering the question you wish they'd asked instead of the one that's actually on the paper.
And check this out. This is the exact level of detail the examiners are drooling over. A good answer doesn't just say, oh, inflation is bad for farmers. A great answer, the kind that gets you the top marks, explains the nuance. It shows how inflation hits a small farmer who keeps most of his crops way differently than a big farmer who sells everything at the market. That's the difference maker.
Here's another little gem right from the report. It's all about keywords. You could write a beautiful paragraph for a definition question, have the right general idea, but if you miss those essential, non-negotiable keywords, you're going to lose marks. It really is that simple.
You see that? Taking over by the government. That phrase, that's the heart of the definition. It's not just that the government has some control, it's the active taking over of ownership and management. Precision is absolutely everything here.
All right, let's switch gears and look at the numbers, because the ICSE Council also gives us a quantitative analysis, a real data-driven story of how students are actually doing. This is where we start to see some fascinating patterns emerge.
And just so you know, we're not talking about a small group of students here. Back in 2018, more than 9,000 students took this exam. So the insights we're about to see, they're based on a huge, really reliable set of data.
So the first pattern that jumps out from the data is a difference in performance by gender. The report found that, on average, girls scored quite a bit higher than boys. You can see the mean score for girls was over 5 points higher, and the council itself says that this difference is statistically significant. But get this, the regional differences are even crazier. Students in the South region had an average score of 80. Meanwhile, students in the East had a mean of 62.2. That is a massive gap, and it just goes to show how much performance can vary depending on where you are.
Okay, we've gone through the syllabus, we've peeked inside the examiner's mind, we've crunched the numbers. Now for the most important part. How do we turn all this amazing insight into a real, concrete study plan that actually gets you marks?
Let's be real for a second. Your textbook isn't your only tool anymore. You've got endless online resources, tutorials, and past papers right at your fingertips. So the key today isn't just about working hard, it's about using all these tools to work smart.
One of the most powerful strategies out there is what I call the 3-step past paper method. It's simple. Step 1, get your hands on as many past papers as you can. Step 2, solve them like it's the real thing. I mean, a timer, no notes, no help. And step 3, the most important step, analyze your mistakes. Don't just see what you got wrong, you have to understand why you got it wrong.
And why is this so incredibly powerful? Because it does everything all at once. It makes you more confident, it gets your timing down perfectly, it shows you which questions pop up over and over again, and, best of all, it trains your brain to think and write in the exact way that the examiners want you to.
So, after all this, the syllabus, the examiner's reports, the data, the strategy, it really all boils down to one final thought.
Look, you have access to this incredible treasure trove of information, all based on the experiences of thousands of students who have taken this exam before you. The data clearly shows you what works and what doesn't. So really, the only question left to ask is, which path are you going to choose? Are you going to be the student who learns from all those past mistakes? Or are you just going to be another one who repeats them? The choice is yours.